October 2024. About 3 weeks after closing on my first successful house flip, I'm at a networking event in Charlotte, feeling pretty darn good about myself. I had just made more money in one transaction than I ever made in any singular transaction in my W 2 world. So this guy, he walks up to me, he extends his hand and asks the simplest question in the world. So, Brad, what do you do? And I had absolutely no idea how to answer. I mean, I knew what I'd done, but what I do, who I am now, that was a completely different question. And in that moment, I realized that making money doesn't automatically give you an identity. And you're probably thinking, duh. Well, I'm just realizing that. So let me paint the picture for you. This was Charlotte Entrepreneurs, a monthly mastermind event run locally in Charlotte by my friend Patrick Menifee. I had joined the group in the beginning, and this was a relatively new group. But I had been going to real estate meetups around Charlotte for about 18 months, and everyone in those circles, they knew me as the TV guy. That's if they knew me. I should have been on top of the world. That Lenore house had just closed. Almost $100,000 profit between my partner and I. I'd proven that my television production skills could translate to real estate. I finally had something concrete to show for my transition. But here's the thing. Being known as the TV guy, that was a great door opener. But it wasn't making me money. For 18 months at various real estate events, people had been genuinely fascinated by my Hollywood background. In Charlotte, North Carolina, having a Hollywood TV exec show up, that's unusual. That's interesting. I was literally the $2 bill in a room full of entrepreneurs. And I helped people with their brands. I helped people understand who they were. I loved it. But all that, including being fascinating, that doesn't pay the bills. And standing there looking at this guy, waiting for my answer, I realized that 18 months of being interesting hadn't translated into a clear business I could articulate. So I did what any confident, successful entrepreneur would do in that situation. I completely fumbled it. Well, I used to work in television at a network called A&E. I was a senior director there for 12 years. Fox before that. I had 4 Emmy nominations. I worked on shows like Intervention and 60 Days In and Duck Dynasty. But here's the difference. He wasn't bored. His eyes weren't glazing over. He was genuinely interested. People always were. A Hollywood executive in Charlotte? That's fascinating, right? That's incredible. What shows did you work on? How did you get into television? You must have worked with some amazing people. And I'd light up talking about the shows, the Emmy nominations, the billion-dollar content portfolio. I could talk about television all day long. Then came the killer question. So what's your business now? How are you using that experience? And that's where I'd completely fall apart. Well, I just flipped my first house, made good profits, so I guess I'm a real estate investor now, but I'm also thinking about consulting, maybe business consulting. I have all these systems and processes from television that could help entrepreneurs, but I'm not sure exactly what that looks like yet. Yes, that's what at least was in my head. I don't know how it came out. So I'm watching him nod politely, but I can see the confusion. And a confused mind, doesn't buy. He's trying to connect the dots between the fascinating TV background and what I actually do for people today. So he says, that's interesting. So are you looking for real estate deals? Are you looking for clients to consult? What exactly are you offering? And I had no good answer. Stood there for another about 10 minutes at the networking event, just watching other people at this mastermind. I'm listening to their crisp, confident introductions, at least in my mind they were. I'm a financial advisor. I help families plan for retirement. I'm a marketing consultant. I help small businesses grow their revenue. I'm a real estate agent. I help people buy and sell homes. Clear, confident, compelling. And then there was me. I'm the TV guy who just flipped a house and trying to do some consulting. The worst part, I had incredible experience. I had 20 years of building hit television shows. I had systems that had generated billions in revenue. I had a proven track record of taking complex projects from concept to completion. And I just successfully applied those skills in my first flip in real estate. But I couldn't package any of it into something someone could buy. For 18 months at real estate events around Charlotte, I've been the most interesting person in the room. People, they would seek me out at these meetups. Tell me about working with Duck Dynasty. What was it like producing Intervention? How did you get those 4 Emmy nominations? It was fascinating. I was memorable. I was the $2 bill. But I wasn't making money from any of it. And I had no idea how to turn fascinating into profitable. That drive home that night, and a few other drives home, they were brutal. Just me, my thoughts, and the crushing realization that being interesting is not the same as being valuable. I kept replaying that conversation, not just with that guy, but with dozens of people over the past year and a half, mostly at real estate events around Charlotte. Every time someone asked me what my business was, I'd give a different answer. You know, if you're listening to this and you've been at those events, you know this to be true. Sometimes I led with television, sometimes with real estate, sometimes I tried to explain how they connected. But here's what really got to me. I was treating my background like it was separate from my future instead of the foundation for it. I was treating my background like it was separate from my future instead of the foundation for it. I was apologizing for not having a clear business model instead of recognizing that my unique combination of experience was the business model. I was acting like my Emmy nominations and billion-dollar content portfolio was somehow irrelevant to what I was trying to build. Why? Because I couldn't see the connection. I couldn't see how being a television executive made me different as a real estate investor or business consultant. I couldn't see the thread that tied it all together. I was planting seeds everywhere. Real estate, consulting, networking, but I didn't know what I wanted to grow. I didn't know what my irresistible offer was. I didn't know how to turn all those months of being the TV guy into a business that could change people's lives. You want to know the really painful truth? I was suffering from what I now call Expertise Invisibility Syndrome. It's a mouthful. Expertise Invisibility Syndrome. I was so close to my own experience that I couldn't see what made me valuable and what made my experience valuable. I was so focused on what I was trying to become that I was ignoring what I already was. Think about it. How many real estate investors have produced over 200 episodes of house flipping shows? How many business and creative consultants have managed billion-dollar content portfolios? How many entrepreneurs have over 20 years of turning creative concepts into profitable reality? The answer, 0. Just me. But instead of seeing that as my competitive advantage, I saw it as baggage. Instead of recognizing that my unique combination of entertainment industry credibility and my business methodologies as a result was exactly what made me different. I was trying to fit into someone else's box. And I know some of you that know me very well are nodding and saying, I told you so. I was the $2 bill trying to convince people I was just another dollar. Well, that night and many nights, couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about that question that I've been asked so many times. What do you do? And it hit me. The question wasn't wrong. My answer was. I wasn't a former television executive who happened to flip a house. I wasn't a real estate investor who used to work in television. I wasn't trying to be 3 different things at once. I was someone who helps people become impossible to ignore. I was someone who helps people become impossible to ignore. That's what I've been doing in television for over 20 years, taking concepts, stories, and people and making them so compelling that millions of viewers couldn't look away, creating content that stood out in a crowded marketplace. That's what I've done with the house flip, taking a distressed property that everyone else passed and turned it into something valuable and desirable. And that's what I can do for all of you, entrepreneurs, business owners, any industry, anyone. I could help them take their expertise and make it impossible to ignore. Help them become the obvious choice in their industry, not through gimmicks, not tricks, but through the same principles that made great television. Authentic storytelling, clear positioning, and systematic execution. It's only been in the last few months that I've gotten clear about this. I haven't even had the chance to try this new positioning at the next Charlotte Entrepreneurs meeting yet. And I couldn't be more excited to do so. When someone asks me now, so Brad, what's your business? I'm ready. Let's go. I help entrepreneurs become impossible to ignore. I take the same principles I used to create billion-dollar television content and apply them to help business owners become the obvious choice in their industry. Period. No rambling, no apologizing, no confusion, just clarity. Because here's what I learned that night. Your background isn't your baggage. It's your brand. Your unique combination of experiences isn't something to explain away. It's something to own. The world does not need another generic business consultant, but it desperately needs someone who can help entrepreneurs apply entertainment industry principles to build authority and become unforgettable. Tomorrow, tell you about the moment I realized this wasn't just about me. It was about every entrepreneur who's ever felt invisible, despite having incredible expertise. Be unforgettable. Be the $2 bill.